Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Today we have another 1724 that requires a password reset. Now this one also has a secure boot or boot protection disabled, so I'm not worried that it was stolen or anything like that, because if it was, it would not have the protect boot disabled. So the story of it, the customer just left it in the closet for a while and forgot the password. It happens. It's your device. You have a right to forget password to it, right? I don't know if there are some other methods than reflashing the BIOS to reset the password. There's no pins or switches or jumpers that you can use that I'm aware of to reset the password. But the main issue, the main problem or main difficulty is removing the screen without any damage. And so far, I was never successful in removing it without any scratches or just plainly cracking the screen. And I do make it known before the repair, if that works for you, that there's actually a good chance that the screen will have to be replaced after this, which is additional 75. It's actually, I purchased mine for 76 and change, so that's a pain. So this time I changed my strategy, and instead of, so before I would be starting from here, and this is no different, right? And I would just slide down, heating it, and just slide down, right? Like so. Shut down due to inactivity. Oh, and you're not seeing anything because I didn't switch you to the scope. Right, that's our screen. So I would start over here, right, and heat it up. So I would go with the heat over here and just pry it, right, like so. But that is working extremely close to the maximum pressure this screen can withstand. So it's a nice and fast method because it goes very quickly, but it's very easy to crack it. So this time I changed my strategy, and I obviously also started here, right? Oh, come on, get in there. I started here, but I would heat it up, pry it a little bit, and inject alcohol in there. And I injected enough alcohol that there's basically no friction, right? And it just goes very easy. It takes a lot longer, like a lot longer. But this is the first screen that I managed to remove without any damage to the screen, right? Not even a crack and not even a scratches, because usually my previous method would cause scratches, would develop scratches here. I would cause a lot of scratching over here. Now there's not a single scratch. There's some residue from the adhesive. I will remove that, but not a single scratch. So the screen is removed beautifully. However, we lost touch. The digitizer stopped working. Now, why did the digitizer stop working? What I believe happened, because I can't see any evidence of any scratches on the cables, any cut cables, or any damage whatsoever from my tool. But as we work around it, right, here at the bottom we have the cables that connect to the screen, so that is responsible for the display. If you cut any of these wires or damage them, the display won't display. So I managed not to do any damage over here to the screen. However, here, this corner over here, that is where our digitizer connects. And let's take a look at it. This is where it connects. So I'm thinking that, because there's a lot less room over here, so I'm thinking that I push the tool past this point. Yeah, so this is the maximum. I can't really tell because I didn't pay attention to it, and from now on I will. But if I just pushed it a bit too hard over here, that's probably what killed the digitizer. Now I could replace this board over here and see if that would help, but I don't think it would. I think the damage is here because I just probably pushed a bit too hard over here. Or the other possibility, since I don't see any physical damage to it, perhaps it's the act of heating that killed the digitizer. Could be. In any case, the screen will need to be replaced. Luckily I have one in stock, so that's not a big issue. There's not gonna be a delay, because normally I would have to wait for it to be delivered. You know, with external keyboard it will work just fine, right? But that kinda defeats the purpose of the device. And the same with the shields. Actually, I managed to remove the shields very well. So both screen and the shields, look at that. Not a, see, no bending. You wouldn't even tell that this was removed. And the same with this one, perfectly straight. So when I replace it, it won't even show that this was opened. And if it wasn't for the digitizer, the screen and the border here looks perfectly done. So yeah, if it wasn't for that digitizer, this would have been a perfect job. Unfortunately, it isn't. Alright, for the shields, this is what I use nowadays. No bending, no nothing. You know, the worst case scenario, the worst you can do, right? Completely bend. So this would be tough to put back on. So compared to that, this is done really well. So it is possible to remove these shields like almost with no damage. It's not easy, but it can be done. Alrighty, now let's get to it, and let me tell you, let's do 100 flow. Let me tell you what the problem with the EV batteries is. Because throughout the automotive inventions and, you know, the progress in automotive technology, we've seen the pattern, especially in my view in German vehicles, of stuff being made purposely very complex that requires long, tedious procedures to do even the easiest things. That's why I drive Subaru and I love Subarus. because these are the vehicles that pretty much you need. Until you get to the very internals of the engine, you don't need any specialized tools. The procedures are relatively simple, depending on what you do, but most of the things are relatively simple procedures. There's no this domino effect that you get, especially in Mercedes, where to do this you need to disassemble like the whole domino of things just to get to this one. And I hear that's, you know, the German factories or German manufacturers do it on purpose to kind of deter unlegitimate technicians, like not certified, right? Independent repair guys. But that is not what the problem is with EVs. That is not the reason why EV batteries are so hard to replace. Let's start heating the guy up, because EVs deal with their own sets of problems. Main problem being you kind of need the battery to move the car, right? So the capacity of the battery determines your range, and it's not fun having 50-mile range. Who wants that, right? So the batteries need to be big. If the batteries are big, they are heavy. In addition, when the batteries run cars, they heat up. Imagine that. So they need cooling system. So that cooling system is added weight. It needs to be connected to the car, to some kind of pumps to pump the coolant. It's a whole thing, right? And if they're big, if they're heavy, it's kind of like with the rocket equation. The heavier the rocket is, the more fuel you need, and the more fuel you add, the heavier the rocket is. So you need a lot of fuel. That's why the rockets usually are built in multiple stages. Once you burn the fuel of first stage, you drop the first stage, so you don't have to. So you no longer have to lift that empty tank using fuel, right? Now with EVs, it's kind of the same concept. You wanna longer range, you need bigger battery. You have bigger battery, you have more mass, more weight that you need to push. So the battery needs to serve more than one purpose. Otherwise it's just a huge waste of weight. So the battery is not only the battery, it's also a structural component. It pretty much holds your car together. Because for EVs, it's very important to keep the weight down, because that limits your range, right? Let's see if this is gonna jump on. I'm not sure about this, but let's see. Whoa, whoa. Wait for it to cool down. No rushing. From the consumer perspective, the best the best solution would be that you either have like a big battery in the trunk, and you run out of power on that battery, and you drive up to the shop. They just pull your drained battery, your flat battery from the car, and they put the new one or recharged battery in, and you drive away. Takes comparably time that you use to refuel your vehicle. That would be great, but again, that means that battery only serves the purpose of delivering power and nothing more, which means that weight is only for powering the vehicle. So the structural components still need to be there. So you pretty much need to have the entire car plus the battery, which you also need to use energy to travel with. Right? So that is the reason it's never gonna happen. I see, not responding. Well, I wasn't sure about this, and for good reason. Now let's see how long it's gonna take to read the chip. There we go. Okay. First, let's read it and let's dump it, just to be sure, because this isn't my laptop, right? So anyways, it would be great if actually it would be even better if we had like if the battery consisted from small battery modules, and say there's 20 of them, right? So each module weighs 1/20th of the weight of the battery plus some, and the car just tells you that module number 11 is dead, needs to be replaced, and you just switch the lever or push the button or something, release some kind of harness, pull the module, replace it, click it back in place, and you have a fully working battery. Again, that would be great from the consumer perspective, but it wouldn't be practical. It's not gonna work. It is not going to work. Let's see here. Let's clean up this mess here. That is what what keeps me from getting or even thinking of getting a electric vehicle. I don't even consider that because this is very unpractical for me. I constantly drive about 300 miles a week. And that is pretty much one trip on say Friday and Sunday morning going back. Pretty much every week I make that trip. The EV range is obviously there. I could do it on a single charge, but then charging that baby, right? Charging takes a while. Chargers are not always available. They're not as available as gas stations. Okay, let's save it. So that is 1724. Let's call it trash or backup. Okay, and now let's load new. Then let's erase the chip. And there. When hybrids first appeared, I really wanted one. Well, there's no way I could have afforded it. That's why I never had one. But the idea of electric and combustion engine working together is not a new idea. This was originally, I think Porsche was it, idea for the Tiger tank in 1940s. So that's not a new idea, but it is very efficient. And you know, getting 50 miles to the gallon, 60 miles to the gallon, that definitely sounds like something I would like. Know what I mean? Not that I'm not happy with what I'm getting from either from Chevy. Chevy can go to like low 40s in certain circumstances, but it can stay at like 30, 36, 37 if you're not speeding, if you keep your speed very low. My Subi will get, it'll go to even 32, but on average it should be closer to like 27, 28. It also depends on how you drive, obviously. But having 50, that definitely changes the game. Look at that. It caught my wick. Greedy board. And now let's write and verify. Oh, and the main issue that I have with the electric car, because not even that range, I could live with that range. Say it's 200 miles, fine. I don't drive farther than that, at least not often. And you know, going cross country, yeah, we could make it work. How long does it take to recharge it to like 80%? Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's livable if I you know, set up my itinerary to just hit the certain spots to recharge the battery, and meanwhile do something else. Then yeah, that could work. I could live with that, but the electric vehicle is a huge investment, and after what, 2 years, 3 years, your battery is down to, and I'll say 80% of its original capacity, which means electric vehicles depreciate in value greatly, because now you have to replace the battery, the whole thing, no way around it. Oh. We have a little escapee. Where's that pin one? I guess I put a bit too much solder. So anyways, for that reason, the electric vehicles will remain only available to rich people, or maybe poor and not very smart people as well, because credit exists. That unfortunately will be the reality for electric vehicles for a while. I've never driven an electric vehicle. I've ridden in one as a passenger, Tesla, I don't know which model, and yeah, it does feel kind of a futuristic-y, you know, having that huge screen in front of you, and regenerative braking, meaning that you don't really use the brake pedal much. You don't use brakes often. So that's like different feeling how you drive. I don't know, that's what I heard. So I can't really say, but I think I would love an electric car. Also, I think perhaps it is a little easier in maintenance when it comes to mechanics. On the other hand, it's probably a nightmare in maintenance when it comes to electronics on it. Liquid damage, oh, that's gotta suck. And those cars have the sunroof, right? Imagine forgetting to close your sunroof when there's monsoon, and you know, probably the car is worth nothing after that. Now, before I put the shields and stuff, let's put the screen on. Okay, now for this, I'm gonna connect the charger so I can monitor when it's rebooting. We got 21 watts because it's charging the battery. Turning on. We had jump to 30. Another jump to 30. It's booting. 34. It should restart about twice. There we go. Preparing automatic repair. Okay, it rebooted only once. Okay, I don't want an automatic repair, but the client did ask us to also reset it to factory settings. So for that to work, I need to boot it to Windows. And I'll show you how to do it if you don't have a keyboard, because without the keyboard it's a little more tricky. But it's no problem. You have a USB port over here. Connect the keyboard, or there's dedicated keyboards for these devices. This might take a while. Let's just shut it down and get into BIOS, confirm there's no password, because that's our primary concern here. That was the job. Alright, so we have... Oh, are you kidding me? The touch doesn't work. So there's a different problem. So maybe the other screen does work. I swear to God, I replaced this one and I put the new one and the touch did work. And now the touch doesn't work again. That is so weird. Jesus. What's wrong with these devices? Can you believe it? That is so weird. So I think the touch on the other screen might work too. Yeah, that was the issue with it before. So before I even started, it would get stuck on this. And if it doesn't boot, I can't really reset it. I mean, I could boot it from external, but in my experience, this is on these machines, this is also rather rare that it works, you know. This is Windows, and let's see. So to boot it from the flash, you hold down the volume down button. To go to BIOS, you hold down the volume up button. Nope. And it's not booting from the flash drive. So let's do this. Let's check. This should work. Let's check the other display. If indeed I damaged the touch, because now I'm kind of thinking that I didn't. No, the touch doesn't work on this one either. Okay, which is good. Which is good. I mean, it's not great, but could it be that I damaged the cable here? Oh, but how would I damage the cable? It's not like I was pulling on these, you know? Okay. Alright guys, I think you get the point. The touch doesn't work. So short 3 days later, I have a new screen for it. However, what is the point of replacing the screen when this is all you get? Alright, it's either preparing automatic repair or just trying to boot and never booting. For me to reset it, I need to boot it to Windows, restart it with Shift, and just hit restore to factory defaults or the factory state. But this doesn't work. This didn't work before, and my suspicion is that it's the SSD, but you know, it doesn't really matter. As far as the new screen, the new display, check this out. The new screen. So it turns out these are like extremely fragile, like extremely. So if you saw me handling it, right? It's not like I was throwing it. Yeah, maybe I wasn't as delicate as I should have been, but you know, on this one at least, right? It's the touch not working, but at least the screen is still working perfectly fine, right? No discoloration, no nothing. And this one appears to have stopped working just from literally just gently handling it. I was not rough with it. You've seen it, right? So I get these for about 75 bucks, and they come from China. Made in China, 2023, November 13th. Maybe that's why it was from the 13th. We gotta check if it wasn't Friday. Anyways, they come from Texas. I mean, they come from China, but I get them from Texas. So it takes only 2 days for this, especially if I order in the morning. It takes about 2 days for it to get here, even though it's UPS ground. That's weird. Or maybe it was 3 days. But it appears that they are extremely fragile, which sucks. But since this one doesn't want to turn on, I'm not gonna do anything more with it. That also means that I put a lot of money into this repair, and some repairs are like that. You're not gonna make money on every single job. Sometimes you have to fail, and every failure is a knowledge gained, and knowledge is expensive. So in this case, I'll lose about maybe 150 bucks on it. Maybe. I will reach out to George, I think, yeah. I'll see. We'll see what George wants to do with this one, because I can keep working on this one, but it's just gonna exceed certain, I don't know, price level that it just won't make sense to continue doing it. So I will probably just buy this one as broken and replace it with a other Surface Pro 4 with new screen, because that one also requires a new screen, and I'll probably just charge the price of the screen. So no bench fee, no fee for the BIOS reset, no nothing. Well, it's not a very successful repair, but it'll result just the same. For about 75 bucks, you get your Surface Pro. Alrighty, thank you guys very much for watching. George, thank you very much for your business, and I shall see you guys in the next one.